Supercell is possibly looking into SuperSpells. Say that 5 times fast. Supercell, SuperSpell, Supercell, SuperSpell, Supercell, SuperSpell, Super. Is it a real possibility? Let's take a look. Welcome back to the Clash Tips YouTube channel. SuperCells, not Supercells, SuperSpells. Are they a real thing? Is it something that could be introduced in the game? Is it next on Supercell's list of creative ideas to add to Clash of Clans? Well, recently, Darian, who is the community manager for Clash of Clans, had an interaction with a player discussing the possibility of SuperSpells. And actually, Darren's response was that the clan capital Endless Haste spell is in a roundabout way a super spell. They're talking about making more endless spells. Endless, super, something that has more permanent effects. He does talk about it being in the clan capital, but in a later post, a player said, I feel like the clan capital has the vibe as a playground for the main village, to which Darian responded that yes, the clan capital is different, but also that game design does not move very quickly, and there are going to be some really interesting new things in the coming years. Now, I think that SuperCells is a very, very strong possibility. And because I think it's something that could totally be possible in-game, I came up with 7 different ideas for SuperSpells. Holy cow, that's hard to say. Supercell, SuperSpell. Say it. Right now. Say it. But I came up with 7 different SuperSpell ideas that Supercell could implement in-game. And by the way, I saved the best for last. Idea number 1 for a SuperSpell is Super Rage. Now, just like the Endless Haste spell in the clan capital, any troops that enter the Rage spell will stay raged throughout this attack. This idea has the potential to be completely OP, so it would definitely have to have a high space requirement. I'm thinking maybe 6 spell space or more, but imagine putting loons down and having continuously raged loons throughout the attack. Or putting down healers, throwing a rage down on those healers, and having constantly raged healers for your queen walk throughout of the attack. Yes, this would be OP, but also if it took up the majority of your spell space, I do think it could be something to be balanced. Also, in order to be balanced, I would think that this spell would only work on troops and not heroes, because having a raged queen for the entirety of the attack, that we can take down a whole base in the attack, especially if the queen were raged and the healer were raged, so this spell would only work on troops. Supercell SuperSpell, idea number 2, Endless Skeletons. So this is going to be similar to the Graveyard spell in the clan capital. This 6-space spell, yes, I said it, 6-space spell, would produce endless skeletons. Now, again, because this has the potential to be completely OP, Supercell would, of course, have to test it, but it would be the most amazing distraction tool, because just as a Graveyard spell, skeletons are constantly being produced. They're constantly going. Now, granted, if you have destroyed all the buildings and all the defenses on one side of the base, and you're eking out 1 skeleton at a time, I don't know how useful it could be. But I definitely think as a super spell, it is an awesome idea, especially at 6 spell space. Idea number 3 for SuperCell's SuperSpells is a permanent jump. Since a max jump spell already lasts 1 minute and 40 seconds, to me it wouldn't be too much to suggest that a super jump spell could last the entire raid, which is 3 minutes. I would put the spell space at 3. But it would be nice to be able to throw your jump spell down at the beginning of the raid and not have to worry about it for the rest of the attack. That is SuperCell SuperSpell idea number 3, Super Jump. SuperSpell idea number 4 is the Super Clone. Now, this clone is crazy special in that it will clone a hero or a siege machine. Now, the cloned hero or the siege machine will only last for 30 seconds, just like it does with regular clone troops. But imagine doing double queen damage or having 2 log launchers at the same time. Holy cow, Witch Slap would be completely OP at Town Hall 11. You could really do some massive damage with a spell like this, since it only lasts 30 seconds and it only clones 1 item. I think an equal spell space to its regular clone counterpart would suffice at 3 spell space. Idea number 5 is Super Freeze. Now, this super spell would be very similar to the Tiny Shock on Boom Beach, if you've ever played that game. That is another Supercell game. For those of you who have never heard of it, it actually is a pretty awesome game, although I haven't played it in a little while. But it would freeze 1 single defense for 30 seconds. So, tired of that monolith bearing down on your queen, or don't want your mass of witches to go down early to a scatter shot? Super freeze it. Now, I don't think this idea would be crazy overpowered, so I'm putting its spell space at 2. Super spell idea number 6 is Super Invisibility. Now, this super spell is very similar to the regular invisibility spell, but it lasts 4 times as long. So for those of us who mistime our Blizzard Invis, or maybe we mistime that Skelly Donut, put down 1 super invisibility spell that will last for 18 seconds. Now, since you could just use 4 regular invisibility spells in its place, I would have the super invisibility spell taking up 4 or 5 spell space. Another idea for the super invisibility spell is if it worked on siege machines. Now, it would be the same spell duration time if it was in this manner, but you would be able, for example, to use it to cover a blimp sailing over a base. Super spell idea number 7, and I definitely saved the best for last, and that is the Super Troop spell. Shout out to Spencer on Reddit for coming up with this OP idea. It's very well thought out. I'll put the link in the post at the bottom of the video notes below so you can check it out. But the super spell, which is what Spencer calls it, does what no other spell in the game does, and that is make your troops super troops for a limited amount of time. So think when you put this super spell down for 30 seconds, your regular barbarians can become super barbarians. Your regular hogs can turn into super hogs. Regular loons turn into rocket loons. Need a bump in ability at a certain point in your attack, throw down the super spell and watch your troops mop up. There's lots of details of this spell that Spencer has come up with. I'm throwing all of those on screen so that way you can look through it and read it. Again, click on the post in the notes below because this is a really well thought out idea that Darian with SuperSpell actually responded to. So make sure you check that out. In order to keep things balanced with this spell, I would place the space needed to house this OP SuperSpell at 6. Let me know what you think of these super spell ideas and put any ideas that you can come up with in the comments below. I will be reading them and be responding accordingly. Make sure you like this video, share it with any of your clanmates who might like super spells in the game. Make sure you are following this channel. Until the next video, I will see you. My name is TipDog20, signing out.